I heard the paramedic say her name before I even saw her, but it was the look on his face that made my stomach drop. A mix of pity, strain, and something he clearly didn't want to explain to a husband standing in the hallway at 2:17 a.m. "Sir, your wife is stable," he said. "But there's something you should know." Those words dragged a cold hand straight across my spine. I didn't know yet that this night would shatter everything I believed about trust, love, and the woman I'd spent 10 years building a life with. I didn't know that the truth waiting behind the curtain would change me so deeply that weeks later, telling this story on my channel would feel like bleeding through my fingertips. But let me take you back to that moment, when I still believed she loved only me. I had been asleep when the hospital called. The number flashed on my phone in the dark, lighting up the room with that sterile blue glow that always feels like bad news. "Is this Daniel Reyes?" "Yes. This is St. George Medical. Your wife was brought here." "My wife? What happened?" They wouldn't tell me on the phone. Just urged me to come immediately. I sped through empty streets, the entire world silent except for the pounding in my chest. She told me she was working late, that her team had a last-minute deadline. I even texted her around midnight just to check in. She replied with a heart emoji saying she'd be home late. I clung to that message like a lifeline, not knowing how false it was. When I reached the ER, the nurse at the front desk gave me the same strange look the paramedic would later mirror. Pity. Hesitation. Like I was the last person who deserved this but also the one who needed to hear it most. "She's in room 6, she said gently. "Someone is already with her." That sentence hit wrong. Someone? Who the hell would be with my wife at 2 in the morning? I pushed open the curtain and froze. She was on the bed, pale, exhausted, and beside her sat a man I'd never seen before. He shot upright the moment I entered. Guilt splashed across his face like someone had thrown a bucket of it at him. My wife Emily flinched. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Daniel, wait. Who is he?" My voice shook more than I wanted. Neither answered immediately. Silence expanded heavy and suffocating. The man finally spoke. I should go." "No," I snapped. "You stay. Somebody needs to tell me why my wife is in a hospital bed with you sitting next to her." Emily covered her face with her hands. I saw the tremor in her fingers. And when she looked up, her eyes were red. Whether from pain, exhaustion, or guilt, I didn't know. But I could feel it. The truth was coming and I wasn't ready. The doctor entered before she could answer. He glanced between the three of us and instantly sensed the tension. "Mr. Reyes," he addressed me, "your wife had an acute allergic reaction, severe enough to cause respiratory distress." I blinked. Allergic reaction? To what? She doesn't have allergies. The doctor hesitated. "That's the thing. We were trying to determine the trigger. She mentioned having a new latex sensitivity. The reaction started shortly after." He cut himself off. But I understood. Latex. During an act that involved latex. And not with me. I felt something inside me unravel. Slowly, painfully, like a thread pulled from the center of my chest. The other man spoke softly. "I didn't know she was allergic." "She didn't either." I stared at him, stunned. "So you were." Emily burst into tears. "Daniel, I'm so sorry. I didn't know this would happen. I didn't mean to end up in the ER? Or didn't mean to get caught." The doctor quickly excused himself, clearly realizing this was no place for medical explanations anymore. Once he left, the silence yawned open again, sharp and cold. "How long?" "Daniel, please." "How long?" Her shoulders collapsed. 5 months. The room tilted. My breath thinned. 5 months. 5 months of lies. 5 months of her coming home late with excuses that seemed so normal, so believable. I laughed bitterly. "And you ended up here because you had an allergic reaction while sleeping with him?" She winced at how bluntly I said it. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I just felt lonely. You've been distant. And work has been stressful." And he listened. "And, oh, so it's my fault you cheated?" "I'm not saying that," she whispered. I wasn't thinking clearly." I turned to the man. "Do you have a wife too?" "No," he whispered, eyes lowered. "But I didn't know she was married at first. When I found out, I tried to stop things. She said it was complicated. Emily buried her face again. I messed up. I messed up so badly. I wanted to scream. I wanted to rage, break something, break him, break everything. But all I felt was this crushing, numbing heaviness pressing against my ribs. You ended up in the ER because you were with him, I said quietly. And the hospital called me, your husband, to come save you. The irony hammered through me. I was the one who rushed to her side. I was the one who sped through the night. I was the one who cared. And she was the one who broke me. She cried, begged, repeated apologies over and over as if the repetition would somehow patch the hole she'd stabbed through our marriage. But something inside me had already snapped clean. I stepped back. I'm glad you're okay, I said softly, truthfully, because I'm not cruel. But I'm done. Her tears fell harder. Daniel, please. I can fix this. I can. No, I murmured. You had 5 months to think about what you were doing. I didn't even get 5 seconds. The other man bowed his head, guilt weighing him down, but I barely looked at him anymore. He wasn't the one who owed me vows. She was. I'll pick up your things tomorrow, I said. Stay with him. Stay with whoever. It doesn't matter. But I can't stay with someone who breaks me and calls it a mistake. When I turned to leave, she reached for me weakly. Daniel, please don't go home alone tonight. I paused only long enough to answer. I've been alone for months. I just didn't know it. And then I walked out of the ER, the automatic doors sliding open like the world was making space for a version of me who would never be the same. If you're still here listening to this story wasn't easy to tell. Not then. Not now. But I share it because someone out there needs to know that heartbreak doesn't end you. Betrayal doesn't break you forever. And if you want more stories, more honesty, more raw truth from real life, help me hit 2,000 subscribers. Means more than you know. Thank you for listening. And take care of your heart because not everyone will.